O que acende a sua vontade de começar algo? Tem uma faísca em você que te chama para empreender, investir, dar novos rumos para sua vida. E para todos os seus começos, você pode contar com Santander Select. Um banco mais pessoal, mais próximo, mais humano. Um time de especialistas com olhar atento para cada momento da sua vida. Porque você sabe, só quem já deu muitos passos está pronto para continuar começando. Santander Select. Começa em você, começa agora.
Rated mature audiences only. A viewer discretion is advised. Broadcasting from the Big Peach of Atlanta, Georgia. A show unfiltered, unscripted, raw. The Patriot Angle Podcast. Hey guys, happy Friday to everyone. Hope everybody enjoyed the week. Hope everyone was staying safe out there from the tropical storm Isa. I forgot. I can never pronounce it right. You know what? They have to find names on these storms that you can actually pronounce. Because if you say it wrong, people will look at you like, oh, it's Isa, it's Essa. But anyways, I hope everyone stayed safe from the storm. I know it was pretty much barreling the Northeast, including states as Florida, going through the Carolinas, and just barreling the New York City area. I've seen a lot of heavy rain, heavy flooding, even some tornadoes popping up. So Elsa, that's it. Elsa. I was just corrected here by the the producers here at Anchor. But it's Elsa. Yes, got it right now. But anyway, hope everybody stayed safe. And when you see those things, man, don't be stupid and try doing silly things, just to get that 5-minute fame of on social media or whatnot. But on to today's news. Yes, today is literally the last day, folks. I'll be here in Florida, visiting Florida here to visit family and some friends in the area. Enjoyed my weekly stay here in Orlando. It was nice. Tuesday, not so great. Wednesday, could have been better. Thursday was, on the up and up. Yesterday, managed to do some, little things. Decided to go over to Universal Studios. Walked around, did some things. Visited the theme park. It was really, really nice. Packed. Was very, very surprised to see a lot of people there. Even in the midst of the pandemic. Seen a lot of people there unmasked, which was great. Let's get back to normal. I think we have an understanding of the coronavirus or COVID-19 and, how to, I don't think we need to be taught how to social distance from one another. I don't think we need to be taught how to wash our hands, cover our mouths when we sneeze. I mean, folks, this is all taught to you when you're a child, when you're in grade school, right, by your parents and teachers. I don't think we need to be reminded now as full-grown women and men. I don't think that we need to be reminded. So anyway, folks, I'm glad to see that the parks, the theme parks, sporting events, concerts, I mean, all that stuff is starting to open up at full capacity. Really, really excited to see that. Because, that's what our country is designed, right? That's why we're so great. That's why we are the greatest country on the face of this earth, right? Because we have all these great things in this beautiful country we call America. So I'm glad, folks, that we're starting to see these things opening up. anyways, on to today's news. Want to get into a couple little topics here. This new article here, basically just buzzing social media. It's trending on Twitter. It's just, it's all over the place. Donald Trump literally just announced, a day ago? Was it a day ago? Yeah, a day ago, that he's now going against Facebook, Google, and Twitter. He announced that he is now demanding a lawsuit against these big tech giants, these terrible companies that sometimes, when they want to censor you, they want to shadow ban you. I think he is one of the first public figures to actually make a huge announcement like this in recent times. So yes, he is going after Facebook, Google, and Twitter for violating the First Amendment and free speech. Check this out, guys.
Filing as the lead class representative a major class action lawsuit against the big tech giants, including Facebook, Google, and Twitter, as well as their CEOs, Mark Zuckerberg, Sundar Pichai, and Jack Dorsey. 3 real nice guys.
Not so good when they shadow ban you, Mr.
Asking
Sir.
the U.S. District Court for the Southern District of Florida to order an immediate halt to social media companies' illegal, shameful censorship of the American people, and that's exactly what they are doing. We're demanding an end to the shadow banning, a stop to the silencing, and a stop to the blacklisting, banishing, and canceling that you know so well. Our case will prove this censorship is unlawful, it's unconstitutional, and it's completely un-American. We all know that. We all know that very, very well. Our filing also seeks injunctive relief to allow prompt restitution and really restoration, and you can name about 20 other things, and it has to be prompt because it's destroying our country. Of my accounts, in addition, we are asking the court to impose punitive damages on these social media giants. We're going to hold big tech very accountable. This is the first of numerous other lawsuits, I assume, that would follow, but this is the lead, and I think it's going to be a very, very important game changer for our country. It will be a pivotal battle in the defense of the First Amendment, and in the end, I am confident that we will achieve a historic victory for American freedom, and at the same time, freedom of speech.
You just watched Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable.
Picking it up. The legacy of that shield is complicated, to say the least.
That shield should be destroyed. This world is ours. We're never gonna stop.
It's the closest thing I've got left to a family. I'm not gonna let anybody tell me I can't fight for it.
Now streaming on Disney Plus, and upgrade to the Disney Bundle for even more.
The Patriot Angle Podcast on demand.
All right, folks, we're back here on the show. You just heard a sound clip coming into the show. Got into a little bit of the Trump story. He wants to go against big tech because, folks, this big tech, it's terrible. If they don't agree with your agenda, they want to shadow ban you. If they don't shadow ban you, they want to censor you. They want to put you in what a lot of people calling it Facebook jail or Twitter prison. Folks, this is, I don't mean to laugh like that, but folks, this is not a laughing matter. At first, maybe, but now it's not a laughing matter. Because this violates not only the First Amendment, but it violates a lot of your constitutional rights, your First Amendment, everything. This has to be stopped. And I'm glad President Trump is speaking up. I'm glad he is going against these big tech giants, these tyrants of companies, you know, because this is bad, very bad stuff. On to other news, folks. Before I get into that, I want to get myself a cup of coffee. Be right back, folks. I'll go get myself a cup of coffee. It's good stuff. Good stuff. Got my coffee going so we can get the news going, right? Gotta have that coffee in the morning, guys. Gets me going in the morning. Hope everybody tuned into Wednesday's show as I got into a little bit more of critical race theory. Got into even some more Democratic hysteria. It was a good show. Really good show. Very well received as well, too. Got a lot of good high feedback on that show. So thank you to my loyal listeners and social media followers that follow that, both on Instagram and Facebook, which is very hard because I understand it's hard to even share that content on Facebook or Instagram because, you know, I've become a victim of shadow banning myself. You know, they love to shadow ban my content on both of those platforms. But I do want to thank my listeners on those platforms for tuning into those shows. Very well received on Wednesday's show, so thank you. My hat's off to people that tune into this show on a daily or a weekly basis. Let's get into some trending news, shall we? This news story coming out, oh boy. You know, we just got into Trump, right? This new story coming out that Marlo, right, claim Trump praised Hitler, just the same fake news machine. What? I got to listen to this here. Sound clip number 6, please.
Folks, trust me, this is required reading if you love to hate the fake news as much as I hate the fake news and love to hate it actually sometimes. It's called Breaking the News, Exposing the Establishment Media's Hidden Deals and Secret Corruption. It's by Alex Marlow. He is the editor-in-chief of Breitbart News. And Alex, we're glad to have you back on Newsmax. Thanks for being here. How are you?
I'm doing great, Greg. I'm so happy we could do this. Thanks so much.
You bet. And I'm making my way through the book. And by the way, first, if we could talk about Breitbart, because, you know, Breitbart got a bad rap for a long time. And there was a lot of fake news about Breitbart. And in your book, you go through that and dissect how it was fake and how they try to give you a bad name. Who is behind that, and how did you guys overcome it?
Well, Breitbart has been one of the most effective, if not the most effective voice in the sort of populist conservative movement over the last 15 years in terms of getting out a message the establishment media doesn't want you to know about. And because of this, we've become not just the tip of the spear of the culture war, but also where the left has focused so much of their energy. I mean, maybe only Fox competes, and it's really just a handful of the Fox hosts. And it's something that we're very proud of, but it's also provided a lot of headaches for us, where we've had to debunk a lot of absurd claims about us, falsehoods that are entrenched into our establishment media and our tech elite. Take Wikipedia, for example, where conspiracy after conspiracy, all false about Breitbart, appear in our Wikipedia pages, and we can't get them removed because they won't let us. It's a shame.
Well, when people break through all that noise, it is such a tremendous resource, and you're doing such great stuff. Also in the book, you take apart that phony story from the 2020 election about Trump in the cemetery and the lie that he disparaged the troops. We know that's not true. You exposed it in magnificent fashion. And now I'm reminded about that story because there's a new headline that Trump praised Hitler, which also seems to be, well, I don't believe it. A new book, Michael Bender. Tell us a little bit, if you could, about the original story. And, you know, you just, again, showed that this was a classic fake news hit job.
Yeah, and the book has about 1,200 endnotes in it, so it's all very thoroughly documented. It's supposed to be a scholarly text, though. Thanks for saying it's enjoyable to read. But I have to say, of all the hundreds of examples of fake news that I went through, not just in the book itself, but in the research for the book, this might have been the single fakest item of them all. That Trump called dead Marines suckers and losers and refused to honor them at their gravesite. The reason why I know this is because not only was there not a single on-record source that confirmed that story. It was all anonymous sources. Every single on-record source, north of a dozen, and I will go through all of them in the book, said this story was not true. Yet that became papal bull for the establishment press. Apparently on the same trip, according to this new book that I haven't got a chance to read yet, that another anonymous source says that Trump was praising Hitler. Is just the same fake news machine. But by the way, Greg, I'd be remiss if I didn't note that Trump gave an interview to this guy, Bender, and I wish he would not do that. I wish he would stop giving interviews to the establishment press that's trying to destroy him.
He does do that a lot. Like Maggie Haberman, a reporter from the New York Times, for whatever reason, he gave her incredible access. You know, sometimes, believe it or not, when you give a reporter access, the reporter kind of, makes arrangements or accommodations or maybe even
all right, guys, I'm going to stop it right there. I'm going to stop it right there. What you're hearing, folks, is the Breitbart editor-in-chief, Alex Marlow, that appeared yesterday on Newsmax TV's Greg Kelly Reports. Folks, this is the author of the latest book, Breaking the News, which is on newsstands everywhere. I picked up that book, decided to read a little bit of it, and, it has some truth to it, some narratives of truth. And it's not too bad. Anybody, looking for a good conservative book, patriotic book, check it out. I'm on like chapter 6, maybe almost chapter 7 of it. And I mean, it's a great book. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I'm into a lot of patriotic books. And for those who don't know, I'm actually coming out with with my very first book. Yes, I'm coming out with my very first book. Entitled Don't Let Idiots Ruin Your Life. That should be hitting newsstands and stores, online stores, Amazon, everywhere. Mid-September, early October, I'm told, from the publishing company I'm using. So check that book out. It will be a hardcover, the first book. Possibly if I write a second book, which I plan on doing, the second one should be both hardcover and audio. So check my book out, guys. Don't Let Idiots Ruin Your Life. It's gonna be a good book. I did post the sneak peek of the cover of what the cover is gonna look like, so you can check that out on my social media accounts, both Facebook and Instagram, which that is now posted on there. It's been posted for like the last couple of weeks now. So yeah, check my book out. Like I said, mid-September, early October. Don't Let Idiots Ruin Your Life. Going to be a really good book. You're really going to be intrigued on a lot of material I put in that book. I get into the deep state establishment. I get into fake news. I get into the rioting and looting last summer. I get into a lot of political angles that we were going through and have been going through for the last year, even into the last 6 to 8 years. So check that book out, guys. I even get into my personal life a little bit, not so much, but just a little bit. So if you're wanting to look or read into a good conservative book, check my book out, guys. You'll really be intrigued on some of the material and content I have in that book. With that being said, let's get more into the story here. That Marlow was ripping claims that former President Donald Trump praised Hitler back in 2018 as the product of the same fake news machine that produced the single fakest item of all of them, that Trump called dead Marines suckers and losers and refused to honor them at their gravesites. Folks, we all know that is bullshit. That is bullshit. We all know that's crap, Even Marlow said, I have to say, of all the hundreds of examples of fake news that I went through, not just in a book itself, but in research for the book, this might have been the single fakest item of all of them, that Trump called these dead Marines suckers and losers and refused to honor them at their grave sites. And then he goes into saying that the reason why I know this is because not only was there not a single on-record source that confirmed that story, it was all anonymous sources. You know what that means, folks? It was all hearsay, right? You know, you go to a court case, sometimes it gets thrown out. You know why they're throwing it out, right? Because it's hearsay. There's not enough significant evidence to play out its defense, right? Or the case. It's hearsay. It gets thrown out. The judge doesn't want to hear all that rubbish and crap. You know, like the judge says, where's your evidence? You don't have any evidence? Stop wasting my time. And then that also goes into fake news. Stop wasting the American people's time. Stop wasting our time. We don't want to hear this rubbish. Who cares? Folks, what it boils down to is when people get so much into the depth of this former president, they get so caught up with the hysteria. I've been calling it for years, and other conservative hosts can relate. You know, this Trump derangement syndrome. They get so caught up with that. Folks, do you really care? Seriously, when it comes down to that, do you really care about Trump's personal life? I mean, you know, do you really care? I mean, seriously, you know, all we care was that, you know, what he could provide to the American people. High-paying jobs, better border security, right? That's all we care about. We don't care about his personal life. We can care less about his personal life. His taxes can care less how much the man made. The more you care about this crap, folks, the more you go into it. That just shows you what type of personality, of a character, of a person you truly are. Cares. Care less how much the man made. And care two shits about it. Care less. I mean, you know, seriously, move on with yourself. In other news here, it gets even worse, folks. Now, oh boy, yes, the Biden pipe bomb of a story, Hunter. Yes, they're back in the news. Hunter Biden back in the news with the laptop. Everybody remembers a laptop. That former Obama ethics chief slams Biden White House for proposing an anonymous buyers to Hunter's artwork. The opposite of government ethics. What? Oh boy, we got to read this story here. I got to read this story here, folks. But before I read this, I want to take a quick break. I want to get to a couple of sponsors here on the show. Got a new sponsor here I want to get to. We'll be right back after these words. Don't go anywhere, folks. Hey folks, this episode today is sponsored by Degree Motion Sense Dry Spray. Folks, this stuff is great. It doesn't leave any marks like white or yellow, stain marks on your clothing. It is by the company Degree, which if anybody knows, they do make deodorants, but this happens to be their dry spray. So if you're out and about, you don't have enough time to, pretty much stop at the house or wherever and, get the underarm deodorant going, and you need to get rid of that funky, nasty, sweaty smell to you, use the Degree Motion Sense Dry Spray. It's ultra clear, black plus white, anti-yellow stains and white marks. So it's not going to leave any stains or white marks on any of the black or white clothing. I happen to use this from time to time. It's an excellent product, so check them out today. They have a new look. They're available all over the place. Walmart, Target. You can find these in convenience stores, even pharmacies such as Walgreens and CVS. Check them out today, guys. They're super affordable. Degree Motion Sense Dry Spray. Check them out. You'll love it. Hey folks, back to the show. Hope everybody's enjoying today's show. We're getting into this new topic here with the Hunter Biden story, right? Everybody remembers the laptop, the crazy stories of Hunter Biden. A new story coming out. Buzzing, especially on Breitbart. Speaking of Breitbart, the story we just got into with Breitbart, the chief editor and staff coming out with a book, which I read. Now, the same story coming out of Breitbart. Yes, Walter Shaub, the former ethics chief under former President Barack Obama, slammed the Biden White House Thursday following reports of the administration's plans to propose making buyers of Hunter Biden's artwork anonymous in order to address ethic concerns, dismissing it as the opposite of government ethics. What? Come again? It goes into even more saying this, that the Biden White House is reportedly drafting a plan to address ethical concerns surrounding the president's scandal-plagued son's art venture. What? Oh boy, Hunter. I mean, he's like setting himself up for like literally destruction of himself. Now Hunter, folks, is working with Soho art dealer George Bergs, who is expected to hold an exhibition, an art gala in New York this fall, selling Hunter's paintings for up to $500,000. The rumor plan involves making buyers of Hunter's art remain anonymous. Oh, why they want it anonymous? Why don't Hunter and his, his new colleagues, right? Why do they not want it made to the public? Is there something behind Hunter's paintings? Seriously, right? Like, what's the secrecy behind all this? Oh boy, it goes to even say that the owner, Georges Burgess, has also agreed to reject any offer that deems suspiciousness or that comes in over the asking price, according to people familiar with the agreement. Oh boy. They also sounded the alarm over Hunter's newfound venture last month. Yes, he has a newfound venture in art. Yes. Boy. Oh, boy. I tell you. Good luck to with all that. You know, Hunter's pricey art appears in a magazine spread. Which also, in the meantime, the White House has put its stamp of approval on the president's son, profiting off of his father's public service again. Yes, yeah, he's profiting it off of that again. But oh yeah, I know some folks, right? I know some folks aren't going to like this tread because we're not supposed to criticize the president, who's way better than the ethical disaster named Trump, right? But you know that. With democracy on the ropes, ethics has never been more important in this ain't I tell you, folks. And then it goes into Hunter's new colleague there, Walter Shaub, tweeting this out just yesterday on Twitter. And I quote, "So instead of disclosing who is paying outrageous sums for Hunter Biden's artwork so that we could monitor whether the purchases are gaining access to government, the White House tried to make sure we will never know who they are. That's very disappointing." So not only is he his colleague, but he's also slamming the hell out of him. Oh boy. Oh, I'm telling you, folks, this is hysterical. I'm telling you. First the laptop, now his artwork. Oh boy, this guy's gonna be in prison sooner than later, if you ask me. Seriously. Oh boy. What's this other story? Another story here I want to get into. What's this? CNN's Cuomo. Critical race theory is just about choosing stories that matter. What? Like, what is wrong with these sick people? They're sick people. They are. They got it. They need to be evaluated. Seriously. Like, the mental hysteria that runs through these people's mindsets are just outrageously crazy. Crazy. Yeah, CNN's Cuomo here, saying critical race theory taught in most K through 12 schools is about just choosing which stories matter in American history. Oh, what they matter? Oh, so the ones that really matter shouldn't be taught because they're overly sensitive. Check this out, guys.
This is the thing that bothers or should bother about critical race theory. It's a boogeyman. It's not even taught in most K through 12 schools.
Oh, it's a boogeyman, Chris?
Suddenly it's like the biggest thing that's going on in the country when it comes to our kids in schooling. Now, what does that tell you? Tell you that they're BS here. The critical race theory, this boogeyman, is just the new front on the culture war. That's all. The brown menace is gone. You know, they're not coming over the wall to come and take your women. Now they're coming to take your kids. They claim CRT doesn't enlighten. It spreads racism. It spreads socialism. It's just telling white kids that everything you do is somehow given to you and you're worthless and that you have to be to blame for all the bad things. It's none of those things. Fall for what you're being told. Do the homework, okay? It isn't about an intellectual theory. That's not their fight. Their fight is about a power theory, okay? Now, what critical race theory is really about is just choosing which stories matter in the teaching of the history of America. Former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo.
Oh, shut up. Shut up. Which stories matter? So all the other stories in American history, that shouldn't be taught, right? Because they don't matter. Because they may have sensitive or very hateful meaning behind their messages, right? They shouldn't be taught in schools. So you're telling me that this new generation of youth in America should not be taught the same stories that I learned, my parents learned, my great-grandparents learned. They shouldn't be taught or given the same opportunity to learn the same stories that I've learned in school and other generations before me learned, because they don't matter, according to CNN's Chris Cuomo. What is wrong with this country, folks? Seriously, what is wrong with this country? Cuomo going into more of the story, folks. So here's the thing that bothers, or should bother, about critical race theory. It's the boogeyman, he says. It's the boogeyman effect. It's the boogeyman effect. What the hell are you talking about now? The brown menace is gone. They're not coming over the wall to take and come for your women. Now they're coming to take your kids. They claim CRT doesn't enlighten. It spreads racism. It spreads socialism. It's just telling white kids that everything you do is somehow given to you and you're worthless, and that you have to be blamed for all bad things. It's none of those things. Hey, Chris, maybe you should do your homework. Maybe networks, such as your network of CNN, is the real threat here in America. The real threat that not only promotes CRT, or otherwise known as critical race theory, which I got into a little bit on Wednesday's show, and I'll get into a little bit more on today's show. Maybe you should stop spreading hate. Maybe networks like yours and others are the ones to be blamed for this type of rhetoric going on in America. And I'll close it off like that. Telling you, folks, it's disgusting what's going on here. Disgusting. Just going through the news here. What's this here? Pelosi's husband bought Amazon call. What? I gotta read that again, folks. Pelosi's husband bought Amazon call options weeks before Pentagon announced contract likely benefiting company. What the hell? Pelosi's husband? You never hear him in the spotlight, folks. I want to enlighten my listeners on this story here. Yeah, Paul Pelosi, the husband of House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, bought Amazon call options just 6 weeks before the Pentagon announced it was canceling a multi-billion-dollar contract with Microsoft and starting a new one that opened a door for Amazon's participation. What? Oh boy, deep state hysteria here. The Biden Pentagon on Tuesday abruptly announced it was canceling its multi-billion-dollar Jedi cloud service contract with Microsoft and starting a new one that Amazon could compete for. Oh, so it's a competition. Yes, we gotta have Amazon compete with somebody, right? Not, if they're not competing with Walmart, they have to compete with another company, right? So now they got to compete with this, this Microsoft Jedi cloud type of company, right? I tell you guys, Amazon had favored to win the Jedi contract after the idea for a single cloud infrastructure was first conceived in 2017, but it was ultimately awarded to Microsoft in 2019. Amazon sued, of course, arguing that they lost due to the I knew this was going to come up. Yeah, they got to blame somebody. So who other to blame? The perfect man to blame. Oh yeah, Donald Trump, of course. Of course. They're going to blame they're going to blame not only Donald Trump, but they're also going to blame Donald Trump's personal dislike of Amazon CEO Jeff Bezos, right? So they're going to blame his personal dislike of Amazon CEO Jeff Bezos, right? They got to blame somebody, so they got to blame Trump. Trump's back into the blame of everything. Guy's not even president. Not even a president. They're still blaming him. Even when he was president, they were blaming him for everything. They're still blaming him. I mean, this guy gets more heat than any other living, sitting person on the face of this earth, which is not only a disgrace. It's disgusting in my eyes. You know how one person, one man, one entity, one whatever you want to call it, can get so much hate in this world. It's disgusting. The Pentagon said the new contract, folks, Joint Warfighter Cloud Capacity, or JWCC, would be a multi-vendor and multi-cloud, and explicitly named Microsoft and Amazon as the two top contenders. Oh, they're the two top contenders. Yeah, the two top contenders, Microsoft and Amazon. All right. I tell you guys, the department intends to seek proposals for a limited number of sources, namely the Microsoft Corporation and Amazon Web Services, as available market research indicates that these two vendors are the only cloud service providers capable.
You just heard an episode of the Patriot Angle podcast, an Anchor platform.